Hey everybody, welcome to the Be Better on Purpose, up close and personal Passion for Purpose podcast. And today I have with me Jaca Collins. And I want you all to welcome Jaca, and I want Jaca to tell us, who is Jaca?
Okay, Jaca is a servant-driven leader in the community. Jaca is a mother of 3 and a wife of 24 plus years. I am very passionate about helping others reach their goals because I believe that that's what life is all about.
Yes, it is.
Like, what is the point of having so much if you're not reaching back and helping others in whatever capacity? And that's not always financial. It can be, but it could be of your time, of your service, you know? And so I'm always, my goal is to be a servant leader.
Okay.
And so currently, Jaca is also a funding consultant. And every day I look to help others reach their goals, especially their business goals.
So tell people, what exactly is a financial consultant? What did you say? What did you call it?
I call it's funding consultant.
Funding consultant. So tell it to people.
Yeah, so what I do is every day, I talk to people about their financial goals in terms of the funding that they need to either start their businesses, expand their businesses, and grow their businesses. So every day I'm seeking to talk to people to help them get the capital that they need. Mm-hmm. So many people think that, wow, they are limited in the amount of capital they can get unsecured. And that is true. If you walk into the bank, nobody's going to give you $400,000 in unsecured funding. But if you come through my platform, CNERGIE Capital, you can get 5 times more capital than you would if you just walk into Wells Fargo or any bank. So many of I'm partnered with 260 lenders through a larger platform that's been around for 14 years. Okay. And many of these lenders are major banks and major credit unions and wealthy individuals. So and we get people the funding they need. We use a process called capital loan stacking, which a lot of people are not familiar with, especially people in our community. Yeah. Apparently, the people outside of our community have been very familiar with capital loan stacking since 2016.
And now that we know that there's this process called capital funding that's been going on for a long time, it's unfortunate that our community is usually on the back end of getting stuff, but I'm glad it made its way to us as well.
Yeah, so I like to explain what capital loan stacking is.
Go ahead and explain it, yeah.
So capital loan stacking works like this. Say you have lender A. Well, once a person is actually approved for funding, they have 4 rounds of funding. Okay. They can have up to 4 rounds of funding. So let's say round 1, lender A may give $30,000. Lender B may give $40,000, and lender C may give $30,000 in round 1. So that would be 70, 89. That's $100,000 in round 1. If the person accepts that funding, then we go on to round 2 if they want more capital. Some people are like, hey, I don't even want that much, just give me like 70, But some people want maximum funding. So CNERGIE Capital gives $10K to $400K in unsecured funding. Okay. That's our range. So somebody may say, hey, I want more money, let's go to round 2. Okay. And so forth. So that's how it works. So when a person reaches the maximum level of funding that they want, then that's the only time we will run a credit check. So I want to distinguish again what I do with CNERGIE. I am a funding consultant. So I'm not a broker. I'm not a lender, but I'm a consultant. And I match people to, I get them pre-qualified. I understand what their needs are, and I do the consulting part and the administrative work to help them get all their documents over to the attorneys, the loan officers, and the underwriters, et cetera. Because they're the ones that make those decisions. It's not me.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you explain yourself as a consultant, so people would know that you're not the actual money person that's going to go out into your account and give these people money and things like that. But there's a process that they go through for us, how the capital funding flows and everything. And I think that's a good example and illustration that you gave. So for people who might not understand it, a lot of people have probably got in the mail stuff from like Lending Tree and things like that. And would you say that you all are similar to that, but you all more focus on our community as opposed to focusing on the larger community like some of them do?
Yeah, we like my brand, CNERGIE. I mean, I'm really focused on our community. Yeah. I could, I'll help anyone. Don't get me wrong, but my focus.
Mine is green. People, mine don't care about other colors.
It's just that in our communities, we're not aware of the fact that we can't access this capital.
Yeah.
And some of the requirements that we require is a W-2, a income of a minimum of $27,000 minimally. W-2, and we also require, there are other requirements, but those are the basics.
Okay.
But there are other requirements that I would go over with anyone that was interested in seeing, getting pre-qualified. And even if a person didn't get pre-qualified because they have, challenged credit, there is a program that the larger company offers that would help them get their it's a funding prep program.
Okay.
Funding prep. That's very different from credit repair. Our funding prep program prepares people to get funded in 30 to 45 days, if they have challenged credit.
So that's like when you go into college and your GPA ain't high enough, they put you in remedial courses first.
Right. But you can still get to the end.
You're in college and you still get credits and everything, and then you get your regular courses after you finish your remedial. I can understand that picture.
Yes. And then on top of that, we offer mentoring. As a former educator, I used to be a school teacher. I am so passionate about that piece of the mentoring program, the mentoring. We have mentoring in certain business models, Turo, Airbnb, unsigned artists, that Airbnb arbitrage, unsigned artists, multifamily, and real estate acquisition. So we have those mentoring programs. So, sometimes people can get access to funding, but they may not have the proper education to expand that funding.
Yeah.
Because you can get, you hear stories all the time. People get millions of dollars, and next thing you know, like, where is it?
Yeah.
So that can happen to people who are not accustomed to money. Like this money, this funding, if a person is approved, a lump sum goes into their checking account.
Wow.
And sometimes, some people haven't seen 100 or 200,000 in their bank account, and they forget it's a loan. Next thing you know, they're going to Japan and worldwide trips, you know what I'm saying? And like doing things they're not supposed to do with the money. The money really should be used. You can do technically, once that money is in a person's account, they can do whatever they want to with it. But at the same time, this is unsecured funding. So that capital needs to be used wisely. But can I say something that's so deep about unsecured funding?
Go ahead.
This is really deep. So you take a model, like say somebody wanted to get a truck through CNERGIE, and this is unsecured funding. Technically, if the money is just put into your account, you can take that cash and go and purchase an asset that really is you're going to get the title to that asset, because the loan is on you, not the asset. So nobody can ever really take away that asset. Isn't that interesting?
So if I was a business owner and I had an idea and I just needed seed money or something like that, I can get this money and put it into my business and know that my business can't be attacked by the money, because that's money on my personal account.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right. So it's like a financial LLC.
Right. So essentially, this money is a personal signature loan. Mm-hmm. That's what this funding is, a personal unsecured signature loan.
Wow.
And so if a person, let's say they were to walk into Wells Fargo, they're not going to get what I can get them, because I'm working with 260 lenders and many lenders that will offer them capital. And all of that depends on their credit score and their credit profile.
Okay.
What they get. And even the interest rate. Interest rates are as low as 5%. And I'm going to emphasize as low as 5% because it depends on a person's their credit profile. Every individual is different.
That's true. And even if it's higher than 5%, where else you will get money this quick and this easy?
Right.
Especially unsecured. It's not like an unsecured credit card where you will have 28% interest or 30% interest in some places now. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And you know what else? I would say it was around the early 2000s. I actually I started a real estate company called Wilcox Ventures. Wilcox is my maiden name.
Okay.
And so my husband and I, what we did was, I was received an inheritance. Mm-hmm. And that's the worst way to have money, by the way. Nobody wants to see a loved one die just so you can have some money. But anyway, I was left 5 free and clear houses, and I was banking with Citizens Trust Bank. Okay. And they allowed me to put up 4 free and clear houses, and they put a line of credit of like $400,000 against those 4 and free and clear houses. So when I saw this platform, I was like, what? I mean, I had to put up houses to get that line of credit from one bank.
That's crazy.
Despite the bank account, which was significant due to an inheritance, and despite all the assets, I still had to put up those houses. So unsecured funding is very significant. Mm-hmm. And coming through this platform, which is a women-led, or the person that came up with this entire platform is she's an African-American woman. Yeah. She's been very successful for 14 years. And I am just astounded at the lives that have been touched from this platform. And it is real. And it is significant in terms of the funding, like the larger company that allowed me to white label my company to their brand. Yeah. They did $10.9 billion in funding last year. So this is a very significant platform. We have I would say 2 call centers. One one is in Arizona, the other in Connecticut. We have 92 processors. We do 200 applications per day. Wow. It's a very significant operation with a very serious mission. So the larger company has a goal of helping 100,000 families generate passive income in this year. 100,000 that's the larger goal. And so I'm so excited about the mission. Every day I wake up very excited to see whose life we can change, we can uplift. That's the whole mission of the organization, is service to the community.
Wow. And I think it's so ironic that we are doing this and it's in March, which is International Women's Month. And here it is, you talked about the lady who actually run this program is a female as well. I said, well, I feel like I don't struck gold having some women on the podcast in the month of March, celebrating you all as women and hearing great stories and great life-changing things that you all are doing.
Mm-hmm. Right, yes. So, actually, there's going to be an event in Atlanta that I will let you know about, but the CEO is actually coming to Atlanta to do an event for me. Mm-hmm. So I just think for those that are seeking funding, and I just want people to know, as long as you meet those basic criteria, there are a lot of people that could qualify. A lot of people who have dreams other than their W-2. Some people have W-2s and businesses. Some people have a W-2 and like a Turo business, a W-2 and an Airbnb business, a W-2 and a trucking business, or whatever. And these days, Darryl, we all know that one stream of income just don't hit it like it used to. 100,000 a year ain't what it used to be.
So true.
So we need streams of income.
Yeah.
And streams.
And I think too, the older you get, the more you go want. A lot of times people get older and they feel like, okay, I'm finna sit back. A lot of times people get older and they feel like I'm finna sit back and relax. No, why not make more money if you're able? You know, you're smarter now, you're wiser now, you know how to.
And you look younger now, and people. And people like Black, I'm gonna speak for Black people. I cannot speak for all of the racial groups, but we do age like fine wine. Like you can be 60 and 70 and still look fabulous.
Exactly.
And if someone like Joe Biden can be the president at isn't he almost 80?
Close to it. If he's not, he's knocking on the door.
And it's just like, for those of people that retire, like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with retirement, but can you really sit around the house for 40 years just saying, hey, I'm retired? I mean, it's so much to do. And it may not be associated with W-2 income
exactly,
but it's a lot to do. It's still a lot of service a person can do. I mean, I think if Joe Biden can still be working at 80, if Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry are still working, and you know they can sit down. If Beyonce is still dancing, if Janet Jackson is still dancing, what in the world, like middle class people, it's just like, these people aren't taking off. Look at where they are financially. Like, why should we? We should continue to expand as we get older. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z's still working. 50 Cent is still working. Master P is still working.
You know, I was looking at a thing about Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter. He's in his 90s, and until he just recently got sick this time, he was still teaching Sunday school, still going to the Jimmy Carter library on occasion and things like that. Man, it's 90-something years old. So just because most people retire between 55 and 65 don't mean that your life has to end for its earning revenue. I won't say income, I'll say revenue, because revenue is better than income. So, you know.
Yeah, right. Because really anybody at any time, if they have a proper plan, they literally can make as much as they want with the correct plan. And there's so many successful stories all over the United States of people becoming multimillionaires in their 60s, even 70s. So life is really, every day we can choose to create who we choose to be. And until you're in that coffin, you can recreate as many times as you want, and you shouldn't have any fear of recreation.
Even in the coffin, your estate to still make money if you planned it right. Look at Michael Jackson, Prince, Elvis, and all those people whose estates and family is still making money off of things that they had in place and while they were still living. So, you know, and I think as I'm listening to you explain this and who all could qualify and things like that, I'm in a circle, and I hope all my pastor friends get a chance to look at this video, because there are some people who really could benefit from this. A lot of pastors I know work regular jobs and pastor their churches and things, and their churches need stuff like maybe some building upgrades, some money going into different ministries to help them make more money. And this is an ideal platform for them to get, especially unsecured money. Y'all won't come and put a lien on their church buildings. This is ideal.
Yes, right. And so for those with the right mindset, this is excellent. I do want to let everyone know that if you qualify, there are no fees out of your pocket. No down payment, no collateral, no appraisals are required. I must say that there is a 15% success fee, which is common in our industry. That fee pays all of the people that made this loan possible for the individual. That 15% success fee is rolled into the loan and is tax deductible.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I said that 15% sounds like something I would be able to write off if I was doing itemizing on my taxes and everything. And the 15%, you say, is spread out throughout the loan, so it's not hitting you at one time. It's a part of the monthly payment, correct?
Well, the 15% is owed back to the larger company, Iconic, upon them receiving all of the funding. So let's say someone got $100,000. They would need to write a check to, because money goes to the individual. It doesn't go. So they have it's in the contract, and it's explained to the clients fully how that success fee works. But that success fee is tax deductible.
So if I needed $100,000, I'll request $115,000. Is that 15% of 100? I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
115,000, so I can actually have my 100,000, and the 15,000 go to the fee.
Mm-hmm. So like when people are looking at this type of money, you have to really look at, okay, what is your business model, and does this make sense for your business model? Yeah. But there are some people that this business model makes a whole lot of sense for, because they understand the type of cash flow they're going to create with the money.
Wow.
And I wouldn't get hung up on success fees. That's the cost of doing business, because if you went into one bank, you're not going to be able to get, we're able to give you 5 times more. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes fees are just the cost of doing business. You have to have a business mind for it.
Yeah. And hopefully, people, as they see this and start getting more open-minded about what they're trying to do with their life, they understand that it's just a cost of doing business. Because there's always a cost to doing business, that either a sunk cost, it's going to be some type of, long-term asset fees and things. It's just stuff, things happen to people, and you have to prepare for that. They call incidentals and whatever words they want to use to describe it. Always prepare for things that you might not have prepared for.
Yes. And I also can say this too, there's just the significance of the unsecured funding. You got to understand the lenders are taking all the risk.
Yeah.
It's think about on the lender's perspective.
Yeah.
So this is a tremendous opportunity for those who understand how to take the funding and make it work for them. And if they don't understand, we do have mentoring programs.
Yeah.
That we have people who are experts in those spaces that I talked about. Airbnb arbitrage, Turo, unsigned artists, multifamily properties, real estate acquisition. We have experts who hold your hand, and they give you pretty much white glove concierge service to help you get into a positive cash flow position within 45 days of funding.
Just know
so, and it's ongoing. Huh?
Just knowing this is African American based just excites me, because I feel like people need to see African Americans doing things like this, as opposed to some of the things that they feel like I can't imagine African Americans doing. It's good that they'll be able to see this and be a part of something like this.
Well, it's very exciting to me, and just watching, I think of all the lives that can potentially change and all the generations of families that could be positively impacted if a person utilizes this capital properly.
And that's the thing too. If you have a business mind, whereas you just need a certain amount to get you over the edge and your business could be successful from now on, why not do this? So
right, absolutely.
Why not do this if you know that the bank might not give you the money? You know that you and your business partners or whoever you have this business with, or maybe you have an idea and you just hadn't started your business because you feel like you need the money. This is the time for it, especially right. If you have an idea of how you gonna make money once you get this money and how you gonna pay this money back. That's a win-win.
Yes, because there are people, I've seen people use this money to put it in cryptocurrency. Flex funding is what we call it. Some people put it in cryptocurrency. Some people put it in Forex. Some people buy trucks. I saw a lady who used the funding to start a cannabis business. Mm-hmm. Somebody else used the funding to start a water bottling business.
Wow.
So I think the possibilities are endless. Mm-hmm. And there are even some existing businesses that's already cash flowing. You could use the capital to just buy that. You have to do your own due diligence, but existing businesses exist. Some people use the funding for real estate flips or, real estate acquisition, rehab money, just instead of hard. I think this money is better than hard money. Mm-hmm. So why choose hard money when you can choose easy, soft money from us?
Exactly. Yeah. that makes sense to me. So yes. It's just interesting seeing how you communicate this. I could tell that you're passionate about it. It just shows all in you how you communicate this. How did you get to this point where this is something? Well, I know you said earlier you have a heart for serving and you like helping people. And why have something if you're not using it to help people? So lead us to how you got here. Was like, what was it like when you first go back to Jason when she was about 10 years old or something like that, you know?
Well, when I was 10, like my parents, I don't know what they were. I had to practice the piano and all the time. I guess they wanted me to be a concert pianist. Oh, wow. So I was sitting around the house.
Oh, we need to get literally had a guitar back in the bag, right?
I had to practice every day. Why I'm not Alicia Keys, I have no idea. But I wasn't passionate about it. I think that's why they were. I wasn't, but I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. I mean, they made me. Yeah. So that was the Jason. But I had a father that was an entrepreneur, and he was born in 1908. He was a self-made millionaire, and he he would buy real estate. Okay. And he actually was the majority landowner in an area called Linwood Park, which is, I don't know if you know, but it's near Oglethorpe. Yeah. Oglethorpe University bought the land from him. But that area, Linwood Park, used to be predominantly Black owned at one time. And that's right between Phipps Plaza and Oglethorpe.
Yeah, I worked in an office that's not too far from that area, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so that area was Black owned at one time. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Growing up, my daddy would talk about Linwood Park all the time, and I used to think, I'm not even understanding like the significance of the location, but he would talk about assets and liabilities. He would also talk about, he would always make these statements about he appreciated education. He wanted me to get a college education, but he didn't. He went to Atlanta University for one semester, Morehouse for one semester, and Edward Waters College for one semester. Mind you, he was born in 1908. Yeah. And when you really think about the history of our people and the things that they endured, think about what my father endured as a Black man born in 1908. That's the same year my sorority was birthed at Howard in 1908.
Hey, pink and green.
Yes.
Green that. You supposed to have a green today. This is St. Patrick's Day too.
right. Hey.
No green.
No green today. But you think about what he went through, and the Blacks during that time, they were very asset oriented. They wanted land. They had businesses. Yeah. Think of Black Wall Street in Tulsa. Yeah. Think of all of the empires I feel like there was, they were real serious about land ownership. That was very important. And so my daddy, he was an insurance agent, and he also was a real estate investor. Wow. And so I think that's why I am so attracted to this, because it speaks to some of my own experiences. Yeah. I already told you about the houses he left me, and how I put a line, Citizens Trust Bank put a line of credit against those houses. And I was thinking, wow, what would have happened had I known about this type of platform? Because I didn't have, even though my father was who he was and he accomplished what he did, like business-wise, there wasn't a whole lot of mentoring. Well, I would say, like this is what he told me to do with the funding, the money that he left me. He just told me to sit on it and live off the interest. Okay. Like the Jews.
Yeah. That's smart.
But I didn't listen. And I was like, well, you did it with real estate. So I was like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to 10 times it. But just because you have the money, it doesn't mean you know how to grow it if you didn't build it yourself.
That's true. It's like,
and so that's very humbling, because I was thinking, I got the degrees and my daddy didn't have the degrees. He's a self-made millionaire, so I'm going 10 times what he did. Okay, so not my academic degrees did not accelerate that money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I realized that there was a certain discipline that he had in order to create it in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes when you're just given $1 million or $2 million or whatever, if it's just given to you, you don't know what it took to get it, keep it, or grow it. And
people,
somehow when it's bestowed upon you, you think you're the smart one.
yeah. People treat gifts like that. They treat gifts like that, like how people treat rental cars, car rentals. It's not my car, so I'm just gonna drive over every pothole, and I'm just gonna drive it like I want to drive a car but I don't want to have the cost of it, so I'm just gonna drive this rental car crazy. And it's a crazy reason how that happens.
Right. I think you can kind of see, but even the mentoring pieces. As a former teacher, I used to be a teacher and school counselor. I taught for 3 years at Fulton County Board of Education. Then I was a school counselor for 4 years total. 1 year at Fulton County, and then my husband moved me to Illinois, where I was a school counselor for High School District 211 for several years. But then when my father passed, I saw that, what was the inheritance. I saw how I could kind of create a life of like my dreams.
That's wild.
As I was feeling a little constricted as a, school camp. I just wanted to do more. Nothing wrong with that career. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But you know how you just, in your spirit, you feel like you're supposed to be doing more.
Yeah, especially considering, like you just stated, watching your dad and knowing his story on how he was able to do what he did and the discipline he had. You had it in you, just need the right passion to bring it out of you.
And the right mentors.
Yeah.
And so, I've been blessed with some good people in my life, but I think in the place that I am now, I'm in an extraordinary position to learn from someone who is just so servant driven and so extraordinarily successful.
Yeah.
And she's a Black woman, and she is like killing it. Just on a very extraordinary level that I think, she's just extraordinary.
And I think it's good that you are open to mentoring. A lot of people, especially when they feel like they're smart, and especially for some reason, those who carry those letters behind their name called degrees, it's hard for people who have degrees to be instructed, to be mentored.
You're absolutely right.
Like they know a lot. And, one of the signs of wisdom is always being willing to learn. And we have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen more, speak less.
Let me just say this. The person that is behind this who created all of this. When I saw Master P gave her a shout out for being the wealth goat.
Wow.
I thought to myself, my goodness, Master P, I'm sure we all know, I think we all know that, how successful he's been in business. And he publicly praised her on social media.
Wow.
And I thought, my goodness, wow.
You might be next.
But what I love is just the heart of service. Having this the community having access to capital.
Yeah.
They can't just get it walking into one bank. You know that about this unsecured funding piece.
And that's the thing too.
You just can't walk in the bank and ask for $400,000 in unsecured funding.
First of all, they're gonna have you signing your life away to all these things. They're gonna have all these legalese terms in this contract that you don't understand. And as soon as you default on it, they're gonna come and take everything back. They're gonna go to court. They're gonna sue you. You'll never be able to have anything for the most part. It takes about 7 to 10 years to clean your record again. I don't think people really understand unsecured funding as much as they should.
They really don't.
Unsecured
funding.
And
what is so amazing to me is I talked to, he used to be the vice president of commercial lending for Citizens Trust Bank. And he helped me with the lines of credit.
Yeah.
And he even helped me secure a $4.5 million loan to secure a apartment complex off of Old National Highway. I didn't go through with the deals. I was terrified because that property was not a cash flowing property. I just didn't feel like I could handle that. I guess I could have hired people. I felt like I was being taken advantage of, even with the homes that I bought before. I just felt like, because I went in from teaching to real estate, and, I just have this heart of service, but the real estate world was kind of more like barracudas and sharks. And, I'm like walking around like Mary Poppins, you know what I mean? And people not paying my rent. I'm like, what? I mean, that was foreign to me. Like, what do you mean you're not paying the rent? Because when the rent isn't paid, if you own the property, you're still having to pay the rent. I mean, somebody got to do it.
Yeah. That is.
And so, and then when we went through that crisis, so many people couldn't pay. So now I have my own personal expenses plus all these houses I just bought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the majority of people not paying the rent.
Wow.
That was just like disastrous. But anyway, that's a whole nother story.
but I think it all adds into how you got to where you are now and what you're doing. Because people need to understand that we just don't show up. There's something that's following us. It's experience, it's people, and the things that we went through. And that's how we got here. A lot of people just think that, oh, you're just successful. Well, yeah, I am successful, but I hadn't always been. I had to learn. I had to go through the process. That's it, the process. People don't understand the process like that, but you have to go through the process. Process ain't gonna let you shortchange. So.
And it's interesting. I think we all have to look at our lives as we're all continuing to grow. There is no final level. Yeah. And even some of the most successful people, even though they're really, really successful, they still see that they still have to grow. And the moment you think you got it all, you don't have to grow anymore, that you're building like a deathbed for yourself. We all need to grow every day, continue to expand, get up, exercise. Don't be sitting around the house getting fat, eat right, drink your water. It's that work. It's that daily discipline that we all have to do to get to the goals that we have for our lives.
So, you said you use AKA. Talk about that. Are you active with AKAs? How active are you, and what are you doing with them?
Okay, so yes, I'm very active. I am a part of the Kappa Omega chapter in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. I serve on a social change committee, and also I am the captain of the Education Advancement Foundation. What I do is I help EAF promotes lifelong learning through scholarships, grants, and I help students I raise the money with the help of my sorority, of course, to fund scholarships for deserving students.
Oh, wow. And
so my goal this year, like the bacheloress of my chapter, she, there's a goal that we do 100K for in scholarships this year for deserving students.
Do y'all have they have to have certain GPAs? They have
they do
essays and things like that.
Yes. They can go to AKAEAF.org to look at the scholarships and apply.
Okay. So
there's some that require 2.5. There's some that require 3.0. So I think there's something for every deserving student.
Now, if it's a young lady going in high school and she gets a scholarship, do y'all groom her to become an AKA as well?
Well, I believe that, AKA is an invitation, but we certainly look for quality women all the time.
Yeah. I just think that's amazing. I love seeing people helping young people. I have a passion in my heart for helping young people. I like to mentor, and the fact that here it is, y'all have a scholarship available to them, so they'll be able to see when they get to college, hey, this is somebody, and this might help them become more service-oriented because of the service they received as well.
Yes.
Y'all probably having these sorority meetings and the trips, regionals and nationals and all that stuff.
That's right.
All this stuff too.
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
And you was talking also about how we should take care of our bodies and stuff. What's your fit journey? Do you have a fit journey? Talk about that some.
Well, I think when I was a younger person, I may have been a little chubby. I remember being in elementary school at Collier Heights Elementary, and I remember there was like a little gym class or something, and when we, you know how you used to get on the floor and like roll over your head? You know how you could just roll? What do you call those?
Somersault.
What? Not a somersault is when you're flipping.
Okay, so
but you can, like, you get on the floor and you just roll over. I remember I rolled over, and then the whole class was acting like it was an earthquake.
Oh wow, really?
Yes.
Children could really be hard on each other.
I know, right. So, you know, I think that experience really helped me. And I wasn't like obese or anything, but that experience, I just never forgot that. And my weight, I mastered the weight gain.
Yeah.
Like this just daily discipline is all it is.
I think
and that strength training is so important for women.
Mm-hmm. Well, men too, because I'm into strength training more now than I used to be. I used to do the cardio and the run. I still want to get back into running. I hadn't really ran much since the pandemic, but I figured this year I'll start running this spring, and I like the fitness training also. And we're similar to each other. When I was younger, I was a little heavier and everything. And I said, it was so funny. Nobody told me. I said, y'all could at least told me I was chunky or whatever. Well, I should have known, because back in the day, my mom used to buy my clothes out of Sears. It was Sears and Roebuck back then. And they would have Husky on the back of my pants. And I said, that's fat shaming. I said, I'm already chunky and husky. Why you gonna put it on my pants? And then, who is it? Is it Levi that put the size on your pants? I said, shouldn't nobody see my waist size on my pants like that?
Right.
But you remember those things. And as you get older, when you start working out and you start working on fit training, you remember, and it inspires you. So now we are older, and I feel like my body is just as better, really better than it was then.
Well, I feel the same way. I feel like, I'm proud of how I look. Because you know what? The real flex is, like, when you're in your 20s, you're supposed to be cute, right? Yeah. You're supposed to be fine, right? But the real flex is when you can be fine at, over 35, over 45, over 55, over 65. That's the flex right there. That's the real flex, okay?
And that's the reason, it's funny that you say that. That's the reason you don't have all the big mamas and the Medias anymore like we used to, because the people in our society now, we are still trying to have our best life. Yes, we want to help take care of our kids, and we want to love our grandkids and things like that, but we're not going to just sit around the house all day and bake cookies and, do some of the things that we used to do and all this stuff. We're still, like you said, we're still trying to have that passive income, aggressive income, how we want to come. We still want to have things in life, and we want to be able to leave a legacy behind, like your dad left you the house and stuff like that. We want to be able to leave something for future generations.
Right. And I just want people to know that there are certain platforms and experiences people can get involved with. And it's never too late. Like, I know people, it's just never too late to create the financial legacy. I don't even know. I don't know if, I know if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you have time still, especially in this day and age. So I don't want people to feel like they're behind. They can catch up if they get in the right opportunities. And, what's right for me may not be right for you or anyone else. Everybody has to have their own journey.
And, being a life learner. Because if you're a life learner, opportunities will come, and preparation plus opportunity, whatever it was. But anyway, the thing is, if you're a life learner, you're always open to something that could possibly make things better.
Right. And keep reading. I'm currently reading The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Keep reading, keep growing. Like, it's not over. It's not over. There's so much. Think about how much you can accomplish in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm glad you mentioned
keep reading, because I want people to keep reading as well, because I have several books in the Be Better on Purpose series that I need people to keep reading. Go to Amazon and So I will take this time and just make that plug. So go
Okay,
to
right. That's awesome.
What's your book? What's the name of the book you just said?
This is the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
So when you go to Amazon and get the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, go and get the Be Better on Purpose series by Dr. Darryl Jones as well.
That's right, Dr. Jones. That's right.
So as we get ready to close, what would you like for people to get from this whole podcast? If they didn't get but one strong lesson, what would that lesson be?
I would say wherever you are in life, always remember to stay humble and continue to grow. There's no final chapter. And also there's a quote, I can't remember who said it, but they said success is never owned and the rent is due every day.
Yeah, I love that one.
And so with that statement, I believe that we're all charged with growing continuously. And the moment you become stagnant, that's a problem. Because in this day and age, there's no reason for anyone to, there's just so many ways to create additional income. Even if it's like $200 a day. Yeah. $200 a day times 5, that's $1,000 a week. Yeah. $250. Yeah. Is that right? Is my math right? Okay. So that's $1,000 a week, just $250 a day. And you have to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. Wealth is incrementally grown, and you just have to be consistent and uplift others along the way.
And I think being consistent, when you just communicate that's something I think people really need to take hold of. Yes, we would love to see the pie in the sky fall out, $100 bills into our lap, but that's not the way it always works for most people. So consistent, that $250 consistent a day, or whatever, $1,000 a week, or whatever you can get.
It's just interesting, like that whole, it's so funny the way our educational system is set up.
Yeah.
It's like all the things you really needed to know, you sure weren't taught in school, like about compound interest, about the credit system. You know what I'm saying? There should have been a class about credit.
We should have a class on credit. We should have, I'm talking starting in elementary school, credit,
right?
Sales training, especially sales. If you learn.
Yeah, because if you can do sales, you can always eat.
You can always eat. Cause
job or no job, you can eat.
One of my favorite movies is The Wolf of Wall Street. One of my favorite movies of all time, The Wolf of Wall Street. And
I love that too.
And I love the way you say, sell me this pen. And how they all go around trying to sell the pen and everything. And sales is just so important. People always talk about our country, our world divided by races and sexes and all that. That may be true, but the biggest divider is buyers and sellers. That's something that we will always have in society. Either people are buying or people selling, and some are able to master both at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Wealth is never lost. It's only transferred.
Yeah, wealth is never lost. And like you said, what was the other one? Ownership is temporary. Rent is due every day.
Right. Oh, no, I said success.
Success, okay.
I said success is never owned. And the rent is due every day.
I'm gonna have to remember that one for my next book, because when I talk about purpose all the time, I always say purpose is elusive. Purpose make you chase her. Purpose ain't gonna always just come and say, here I am. You have to dig deep into your heart sometimes to find it. And sometimes it takes somebody else to look into your heart and find it for you. So I'm incorporating different phrases like that, especially into my whole purpose arena. So Jason, I just want to thank you so much for being here on the Be Better on Purpose, Passion for Purpose Up Close and Personal podcast with Jason Collins. And I just want everybody to be able to watch this video, reach out, tell them how they can reach out to you, because I'm pretty sure somebody will go see this and they're going to want to know, how can I get money through Jason?
Okay, yes. You can contact me through CNERGIE Capital, cnergiecapital.com.
Okay.
www.cnergie, that's CNERGIE capital.com.
I'm
go to my website. There's an apply. It's just a couple of questions. But it will capture your name and number, and believe me, I'm on it. I'll call you as soon as I see your see it come in. And you can just ask me questions if you have any. And I'm really about education. So sometimes you can talk to me. You may not be prepared to get the funding because you're not qualified yet, but we can get you qualified. We can get you qualified. You know, we have that funding prep program is excellent.
And are you on any social media that if people want to get in touch with you?
There is you know what? I just started like a Facebook. Like I just started it last week. CNERGIE Capital is on Facebook. So it's brand new, but I just started it because you know what? What I realized is that my phone rings constantly, even before I did the Facebook. I mean, it rings constantly, but I realized, I said, look, I need to utilize Facebook because there's a audience of like 1 billion on Facebook.
Yeah.
And all these social media. I mean, if you have a business, you need some social media presence.
I definitely agree. When I tell you Facebook, people can say what they want to say about it, but it has connected people in ways that we didn't have before Facebook. I use it for different things and platforms that I have, and it has really made a difference. So I'm glad that you are out there on Facebook, and I'm glad that people can go to your website and get all the information they need. And the fact that you respond quick will let people know that, hey, okay, she's accessible. She's somebody who I see. And if you're in the Metro Atlanta area, they might even run into you somewhere. You just never know what it might be like. And people
that's right.
They might start promoting you on their pages. You know, I got or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and one thing I realized in this life, Darryl, I believe we all can win together.
Yeah.
We all can win together. I don't understand why in our world, everybody, sometimes there's that crab in the barrel mentality, but it's unnecessary because we all can win together. We all can uplift one another together.
Yeah.
Can't we?
I agree. So I think you just gave us a challenge, and I want to take that challenge to everybody who watched this. Let's grow together. Let's all rise. Let's be like what's that, cream? When you put the cream in and it rises to the top. Let's all rise.
Does it really matter? Can't we just uplift everybody? Because we're all here for such a temporary time. We're not here forever. So let's just lift each other up while we're here.
You said a lot of words that has been titles to a lot of my podcasts and sermons and things like that. I said, it's amazing just how when people are positive, we use a lot of the same general terms for motivation and inspiration and encouragement. And I just think it's just such a great thing. And I think so many people are going to be blessed by what you're doing. I think God's going to use you to bless not only people who you may know, but people who you've never seen before in your life will probably be blessed because of what you're doing and the heart that you have for service. And that's one thing that you can't say about a lot of successful people. They might be successful, but they want to hold on to it so tight they don't want to share it. Here you are sharing the wealth and sharing the information on how to get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Be Better on Purpose, Passion for Purpose, Up Close and Personal Podcast. You have it here, Jaca Collins. So go out to her website, go out to her Facebook page, and go and get this information that you need. And if you don't need it personally, I'm sure you got a cousin, or aunt, or uncle, or nephew, or a mom, or dad, or sister, or brother, or a child who needs some funding, and they can stay out of your pocket and go to cnergie.com and get their funding.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
thank you so much, Jason. We'll talk again real soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
bye-bye.